Loud and Color Studio presents The Single Files with B.Kadijat. Hey, you guys. You already know who it is. It's your girl B.Kadijat. Welcome to The Single Files, where we dig deeper to understanding the season of being single. Definitely continuing to create a safe space for us to explore how love, sex, dating, relationships with others have impacted how we move day to day. Welcome back to the show. And just for my new listeners, I'm B.Kadijat. Welcome for stopping in into the podcast. If you aren't new here, welcome back. I really appreciate all the love and support. So just a couple housekeeping items that I just want to quickly run through before we hop into today's show. Please be sure to follow the IG page. I know I don't have any content on there just yet, but definitely would love for everyone to just go ahead and follow because I will be posting content soon. So if you can just follow me on It's The Single Files on Instagram, that would be so much love. I definitely have some content that will be rolling out. I definitely got a newsletter that's going to be on the way. Definitely want to expand this out for you all to get to know me a little bit more about off the mic, you know. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And make sure that you are continuing to share the show. It is available both on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I am working to get it on other platforms because I do want to spread this out a bit more so people can have access to it. YouTube is on the way. Amazon is on the way. SoundCloud is on the way. Just bear with me. All of this takes a bit of time, you know. Also, if you want to get in contact with me, please feel free to shoot me an email at signedbybk@gmail.com. That is signed, SIGNED, B as in boy, Y, B as in boy, K, @gmail.com. If you just want to send me some love, you have any questions, because I definitely think I want to open up like a question portion, you know, just to kind of make this a little bit more conversational as I'm continuing to expand. So if you have any questions about just being single or a scenario that we kind of want to just talk through, and if you feel bold enough, and definitely I will keep you anonymous, please feel free to shoot me an email. So yeah, let's hop into today's conversation. Well, first and foremost, happy Valentine's Day, y'all. I hope that you are possibly enjoying the company of someone. Or if not, you're just enjoying being by yourself and chilling out for this Valentine's Day weekend. I hope you all are getting out there, if not enjoying Valentine's Day with someone that you like or love. You getting out tomorrow or sometime this weekend to chill with your girls or with your guys, just to kind of celebrate the love that you have for your friends, because we all about just spreading love and not necessarily just focusing on the relationship title. So I do know that it's, Valentine's Day is definitely everyone's favorite Hallmark holiday to remind them that they do not have someone, or do y'all? So what's tea? As we are in the battlefield of dating, we have to be aware of some of the relationships that we are encountering. There are definitely going to be individuals that we date, some that you befriend, and some, may just come around and just blow your back out from time to time. I mean, let's keep it a buck. We all grown here, right? But while we are navigating these relationships, we sometimes do end up meeting people that we fall into the gray area with. So some that are not clear on what the gray area is, it's basically this emotional, physical space that you fall in with someone that you don't necessarily have a lot of clarity on what the intentions are for either one or both parties. The landscape of just moving straight off of vibes and possibly bomb-ass sex. Feelings definitely do develop, but it's also, it can definitely be considered like a finger pointer when one person catches feelings when they're not supposed to, right? Also, it's definitely just like this whole thing of unwritten rules of what you can and cannot do to one another, but no one can get upset because no one established that they were in a relationship with the other person, with the other party. It's wild actually talking about it. So situations can just come in all forms. Hell, let's keep it a buck. Some marriages that some of y'all even admire are definitely situationships. Yes, I said it. She said it. A lot of these marriages definitely can come off as situationships. So let's hop into hot topics. Y'all, who remembers the entanglement between Jada Pinkett Smith and August Alsina? This situationship / entanglement / absolute foolishness came about just a few years ago when August Alsina befriended the Smith family. He basically created this bond initially with with Jaden, right? With Jaden and I think with Willow. But somehow it evolved to him building a personal relationship with Jada. So from that family dynamic situation came into a whole. Apparently, August asked Will for his blessing in getting involved with Jada. It was very ghetto. It was very emotionally messy. And it definitely created definitely a big internet frenzy. So I use that as an example as how you may think that you have an understanding with someone, and at the end of it all, you all are definitely not on the same emotional wavelength. August obviously was looking for something more emotionally substantial with Jada, and she obviously was not in a position emotionally or mentally or even ethically in a position to even give him more. So there was just more of a physical connection. And they did a whole red table talk. It was real foolishness. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but it was real. It painted a very, very bad light on the both of them, honestly speaking. But I ended up kind of feeling bad for August because, just through some of the conversations that he had, who did he speak with? It was Angie Martinez. He had a conversation with Angie Martinez, and just through how descriptive he was with his experiences with Jada, you can kind of tell that man was definitely hurt, not only because he fell in love with this woman, but he was not able to get that emotional reciprocation. So that's what I mean when it comes to situationships, that one person may fall for the other and it may not be reciprocated, but no one can get upset because it was never established that you all were anything more. So I just want people to kind of just be mindful of how, you kind of playing Russian roulette, not only with your heart, but with your body, when you fall into situationships. Another one that I actually kind of think that is a situation, personally speaking, I think is Kanye West and Bianca Censori. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of recent insight, according to the Daily Mail, it was reported that Kanye and Bianca were going to be calling it quits just 11 days shy of her nearly nude red carpet appearance at the 2025 Grammy Awards. It was this whole thing, but they came out a few hours later saying, hey, we're not breaking up. But I just don't feel like that's something that is completely solid. I feel like it is more of a transactional relationship. She is actually gaining from her being with this man, and he's getting something from her, which I think is just attention. Kanye has become an attention whore. I'm sorry. I love Kanye, but I don't like the person that he is turning into. I'm sorry. But also, I think it kind of becomes a bigger thing. It's the same thing with when he was with Kim. I'm not trying to be messy, but I do feel like that was more of a transactional relationship that turned into turmoil. And they just so happened to create 4 beautiful kids from this entire situation. So I think it's kind of messed up, but I just don't think it was anything more than just we are with each other to build up each other's platforms, right? So that may not apply to everybody, but those are just some of my observations when it comes to relationships. So aside from celebrity relationships because, I don't really give a fuck about rich people problems. But I do want to focus on the whole concept of situationships and as to, just basically exploring why us as individuals kind of fall into them while we are on the path of discovering the relationships that we desire. And, as I've been learning more about, myself and, my desire and want to be in relationships, I've learned that a lot of times when we find ourselves in these situationships, it is definitely a huge sign of emotional unavailability. Now, whenever you hear emotional unavailability, you think about, not really fully being present in a relationship, as to why some people, tend to stray away from commitment, so on and so forth. But also another form of emotional unavailability can show up as you're just so available that you want this person to give you the attention that you desire, basically almost want to be becoming a pick-me. And that also is an indicator of you are so present in wanting to have this said person in your space that you are not even checking in and protecting yourself. Right. So obviously that kind of goes along with the attachment styles. We can probably hop into that in another conversation. But those are some of the indicators that I have paid attention to as to why we make the choices that we make in the mates that we seek out. So being emotionally unavailable kind of creates these toxic connections that kind of leaves us stranded on this emotional island by ourselves. We, us as individuals, especially being an adult, have to take more responsibility of the mates that we choose. So obviously, when someone is saying, oh, I'm not really looking for something right now, I'm not looking for anything serious, I just want to go with the flow, and you flow nowhere, or you just kind of just want to see where the vibes take you, the vibes don't lie, you're not going to become this person's mate. And if it becomes more of a physical, attachment, it definitely is not going to go anywhere because nothing had been established. No foundational conversations have been established. And sometimes we can look up and, something that may turn into like, oh, this is just going to be a short-term thing. You may look up and you just in a 3 to 5 year situationship in hopes that this person is going to choose you. And in reality, you have just, I don't want to say wasted your time, but you have invested a lot of time into someone who just wasn't ready or who has no desire in fully committing to you. And I think we need to continue to just be mindful that these connections can really slow down the process of us getting to the person that we really deserve to be with or deserve to be with us, because let's be for real. Guy or girl, we are the prize. More so girls, Let's not get it twisted. But women are definitely the prize. But then also, I just think that just as individuals as a whole, the love that we have to give to someone is a gift. And I think a lot of times these gifts are constantly being mutilated because we're constantly giving to people that are definitely kind of beneath us. Right. And, take that as you will. But we do tend to deal with people in situationships that we know deep down inside are just not aligned with what we desire. It's not aligned with, our ethics, our morals, our values. We just settle. And I see so many people in the 20s to 30, age gap that just settle for someone. And I think it kind of continues to get, as we get older, people will strive to just say that they have someone and they just take anything for the sake of not being alone. In all actuality, being alone is the upgrade, right? So what are some of the things that we can do, to kind of stray away from being in situations? So as you continue to embark on your quest of dating, you need to ask yourself these few questions. What are you looking for? Really ask yourself, what is it that you are seeking in this newfound connection? Also, What are some of your relationship goals? And this may be something that you want to establish before even going out and trying to date new people. Do you want to be in something committed? Do you want to work towards marriage? Do you want, a lifelong partnership? What does your ideology of a relationship look like? And then also, what type of partner are you seeking in order to obtain those goals? We have to be sure that we are aligning with people who have the same goals as us. If you want to have children and they don't, I don't think this is somebody that you should continue a connection with. If you want to be married and they don't, again, is this someone that you really want to continue to date? Do not have this idea that this person is going to change their mind, because you got one time to tell me you don't want something. One time. And that's it. My time is too precious to be trying to play, the guessing game with you, or even hoping to inspire you to change your mind. Nope. You got one time with me and I got to move on. I got to move around. Right? So how do we unbind ourselves from those toxic connections? Again, define your relationship goals. Do you want something serious, or is it just something fun? Right? So ensuring that, as you're going through the process of elimination, you are staying clear of what you desire and avoid. You're staying on top of what you desire in order to avoid the imbalance of connections. Second, set clear, concise boundaries for yourself. You have to know what your standards are and never compromise them for the sake of having a partner. Please, please, please keep that in mind. You will be doing yourself a misjustice when you are compromising what you desire in order to just keep somebody in your life. It just is just crazy as hell. Don't assume anything, but always ask everything. You want to be clear on where a person is, because sometimes, again, communication itself can fall into a gray area and you just seem uncertain. So always just, have open dialogue with this person. And if they're not willing to have open dialogue, then you have your answer. They're not for you. Next, pay attention to actions. It is so easy to fall for words when actions don't align. So if you have to ask someone if they like or love you, they don't. And it really is just that simple. Lastly, initiate the art of detachment. This is so important, because our time, ladies and gentlemen, cannot be wasted. If we are really serious and really creating connections with someone, don't waste your time in hopes that they will change. If they don't want what you want, be okay with it, and keep it pushing. And then also don't have, any levels of expectations for someone to, be the person that you are desiring, because you are on a time schedule. It's no such thing as that. Enjoy it. And when the situation ends, it ends, and be okay when it does. All right. So, and lastly, continue to glow up, as you are on your journey of dating. Continue to pour into yourself. I know this sounds very, very cliche, but it's really important that you continuously are grooming yourself, not just from a physical standpoint, but then also from an emotional and spiritual standpoint. So physically, you got to make sure that you're treating yourself well. This is something that I have gotten from my guy friends. Potential suitors see that. When you're taking care of yourself, they know how to step to you. So making sure you're eating right, getting in the gym, being active, having a physical hobby that could kind of keep your mind and your body busy. Mentally, how are you pouring into yourself? Are you going to therapy? Therapy is going to be key, especially as, we are navigating our 30s, moving into our 40s, so on and so forth. Are we sharpening our mind? Are we sharpening our emotional selves, to prepare ourselves to be in something that's withstanding? Are you dealing with the trauma from your past, from your past years? To me, trauma starts in childhood. I started going to therapy. I had my first therapy session ever in life in college, because I had an anxiety attack. And that opened up a lot of emotional doors that I had buried in the back of my mind of what was triggering, these anxiety attacks. And I've been going to therapy off and on since then. So it's important that we are, working on those tools, while we are, in the wait. Not saying that you're not prepared, but we just continue to do the work daily. And then spiritually, where's your faith? Everybody doesn't believe in God, but as for me in my house, okay, we serve the Lord. So, going to church, having a spiritual connection, praying, reading the Bible, doing Bible study. I do church from home, creating this religious community, amongst your friends and family. It is helpful to get your mind and your spirit, ready, as you are moving into or moving towards this romantic connection, because it will happen. So those are just my thoughts, So to close the final thoughts, around situationships, I just want to kind of leave you all with, this poem that I wrote a few years ago called I Chose Me. So that moment came, the last tear she chose to shed, her liquid prayers from the shattered relationship, the final I love you that she will hear to mend the foolish heart he promised countlessly to protect. They both came to the end of the not-so fairy tale. The never-ending emotional roller coaster has taken its final ride through the hell that they put each other through. Each dagger of disappointment went through her heart, ripping through all of her hope of their love. Each wound she endured that was meant to be weakened, she used as strength. Every lie told to her made her knowledgeable to detect a fool from a man. The countless arguments that created a war between two souls were created to be a life test that she will pass. 2 years passed with hopes that he will choose her, but that very moment, she chose her. She chose to be the lover and the protector of her soul. She chose to be the champion he could never be. She chose to be everything he wasn't man enough to be. The love of her life. All right, so we are definitely in my favorite portion of the show when I give you the single file of the week. And, it's definitely, I think you all have figured out the cadence. The title definitely goes with the song. So this selection is Snow Allegra, Situationship.
So many times that I try to get over you, no lie. The moment I met you, I knew I would let you down. And so many times you and I made love in my mind. Don't wanna regret you, but can't seem to forget you now. I don't mean to go on and confuse you. I know I'm confusing now. And I don't mean to go on and seduce you. I can't help but seduce you now. Yes, we got a situationship. I guess we got a situation. Yes, we got a situationship. I didn't mean to, but we got a. Yes, we got a situationship. Yeah. Yes, we got a situation. So tell me how to.
All right, y'all. So that wraps up another single file conversation with your girl B.Kadijat. I am so appreciative of all of the love and support that I have gotten from my friends, my listeners, anybody who may have to stumble across this podcast. So please, please, please be sure that you are following the podcast on Apple Music and Spotify. Just make sure that you are hitting follow so you're getting all the notifications when I post. Still, I'm trying to figure out a cadence of when I'm going to be posting these episodes, but they are still going to be coming, okay? So don't worry about that. Lastly, as I mentioned before, please be sure that you are following me on social media. Follow the IG page. It's The Single Files on Instagram. I'll be building out on another platform soon. It's a slow build. But if not, please be sure to follow me on all social media platforms. B.Kadijat, that's B-Kadijat _ on all platforms. I'm on IG, Threads, TikTok. I ain't really fooling with X like that, but I'm on there too, but I'm not really active. Snapchat, all the things. Also go holler at my YouTube. I may put some content up on there as well. You can find me at B.Kadijat as well. So that is a wrap. I'm definitely trying to be sure that I'm building out this digital gang. So just make sure that you're telling your friends and your friends' friends about your girl. I just appreciate all the love and support. Until next time, it's your girl B.Kadijat signing off. Take care.